call this meeting to order for the City of Walton City Council meeting for March 14th, 2023. Please stand for the invocation and pledge. Heavenly Father, thank you. Lord, we ask that you bless us and bless this city, and you allow us as elected leaders to make the best decisions for this city. Lord, we ask that you bless our people. Lord, we ask that you allow us to not be petty and short-sighted. In your Son's name I pray, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Giovanna, if you wouldn't mind, could I get a roll call, please?
Yes. Rose Beach. Here. Matt Brown.
Here.
Terry Courtney. Here. Amy Long. Here. Dan Martin.
Here.
Sherry Snowden.
Here.
Okay. Few quick announcements. April 1st will be the Easter egg hunt at 11 a.m. April Fools. Done. It will be at the Walton Park. There'll be a very special Easter bunny and an appearance that I hear is going to be arriving in a fire truck, I believe.
Oh.
April 4th will be our next caucus meeting, 6:30 p.m. At Council Chambers at City Hall. April 11th will be an events planning meeting, 6 p.m. Following will be a council meeting at 7 p.m. That will be here at the Senior Center. April 20th through the 23rd will be spring cleanup. I'm not a big Earth Day guy. We're doing that during Earth Day week.
Yes.
That will be during Earth Day week. A few notes on that. We have free disposal of the following items: everyday junk, general trash, furniture, yard debris, and electronics. This is for Walton City residents only. That does not apply to those that have a 41094 zip code. You must present an ID, and you must be within the city limits. No chemicals, paint, car lawn batteries, dirt, concrete, tires, liquid waste, propane tanks, hazardous waste, and probably should add to that, did we have something with mattresses was a problem? We might want to look into the mattress thing separately on a different, maybe we'll talk about that fall cleanup. And then the best way disposal, extra curb, side trash collection day will be April 22nd. I believe you can put mattresses on that day.
You have to wrap them.
You have to wrap
Them in
them.
plastic and chairs and everything else.
Okay. If I could I please get an approval of tonight's agenda?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Rose Beach.
Yes.
Matt Brown.
Yes.
Terry Courtney.
Yes.
Amy Long.
Yes.
Dan Martin.
Yes.
Sherry Snowden.
Yes.
Okay. And if I could get an approval of the previous minutes, we have the February 7th caucus meeting, the February 14th council meeting. If you wish, in the past, we have motion to combine those.
Motion to combine?
Second.
Rose Beach.
Yes.
Matt Brown.
Yes.
Terry Courtney.
Yes.
Amy Long.
Yes.
Dan Martin.
Yes.
Sherry Snowden.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go through, start with citizens' comments. Mr. Morris? Got anything? All right. Pam?
Stephanie?
Stephanie? Okay. All right. With that, we'll go to the Sheriff's Department. Major Bill Mark, thank you for being with us, sir.
Evening, everybody. Thanks for having me. Council has a copy of my report for the month of February. Pretty quiet month, so get me a pretty typical for the shortest month of the year. There's a total of 921 law enforcement activities in the city of Walton for February. Some of those include 2 911 hang-ups. Deputies answered 20 alarm drops, 2 attempts to locate, 6 animal complaints. Deputies worked 27 accidents. 4 of those were involving injured parties. Deputies did 40 business checks, attempted 50 criminal or civil summonses, 1 criminal mischief investigation. They worked 8 domestic disputes, 3 complaints of intoxicated persons, 5 emotional crisis calls, 1 juvenile trouble, handled 3 motorist assists, 6 requests for information, 449 spot checks, 14 suspicious activity complaints. They investigated 3 theft reports, covered 25 traffic complaints. For traffic enforcement, deputies did 57 traffic stops, 1 home vacation check, 8 vehicle complaints. They unlocked 6 cars, got 9 wanted person complaints, and all told they issued 24 citations and took 5 individuals to jail. Any questions or comments for me?
Council, any questions for Major Mark?
All right, thank y'all.
Major Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Moving right along with the Walton Fire District. Chief Best, thank you very much for being here, sir.
Good evening. Thank you all. My report for 2023 through the month of February. We responded to a grand total of 293 calls for the year 2023 so far. 5 of those calls were structure fires. In January, we responded to 143 calls. February, we had 150. During February, we responded to 11 motor vehicle crashes and 3 overdoses. As far as the breakdown for the year, calls that we responded to within the city limits is 47.44%. 30.38% is in the Richwood area, which is down where all the businesses are along Richwood Road in that more concentrated area. The Boone County area, which is outside the city limits, in that business Richwood area is 9.22%. Another 9.56% was in Kent County within Walton Fire District. And then another 3.42% combined total was for mutual aid responses. Anybody have any questions about any of that? Okay. Additionally, I wanted to make sure City Council knows that University of Cincinnati Air Care has had to make some adjustments with their schedule. The Walton base is now manned 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., if we call for aircraft or aeromedical response, it will be coming from, I believe, University of Cincinnati Hospital. So, we're hoping that this is a temporary setback temporary change, but we have no control over that. So,
Chief, there's a medical flight out of Williamstown, is there not?
yes.
Is that
Very
a
bad.
private business and not a hospital? Or-
It is, and if need be, if we need aeromedical, what the incident commander will do, will advise Boone County Dispatch or King County Dispatch, whoever aeromedical is needed, will ask for a ETA, or estimated time of arrival. If it sounds like a prolonged response, because of the distance they have to come, we will have them check other helicopters in the area, that being one of them, air evac, and we'll find out their ETA. If the medic on scene feels like that's too long still, then we may opt to just transport by ground over to University of Cincinnati Hospital or Children's Hospital, whatever the case would be, that would be appropriate. So many factors are considered with that: time of day of week. If it's, say, an auto accident with extrication, how long is the incident commander estimating it's going to take to get that person cut out of the car, or those people cut out of the car, that type of thing. So if we can get them out of the car rather quickly, and we'll say it's a 25-minute ETA, and we can have them at the hospital within 25 minutes or less, then why sit there on a scene with that person waiting to be transported after that 25-minute time period, and maybe it's another 10-minute flight. So,
Copy that.
does that make sense to everybody?
Perfect.
A lot of variables that's considered with these type of situations.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am. University of Cincinnati, yes, approximately 5 years ago or so, they built a helipad and a hangar right behind our Station 1 here in Walton. So when that was manned 24/7, then if we needed them, there was times that we would have them come and fly to a scene, or if it was, again, more timely and efficient, we'd call them and tell them, we got the patient in the ambulance, we're coming to you, and then fly them from there. But now it's just going back for 12 hours a day anyway. It's going back to the old way before they had built that. So they're at UC Hospital. Please? Yeah, they have 2 other helicopters available. One's up in Butler County, I believe it is. The other one's at University of Cincinnati Medical Center. So aircraft is still available, aeromedical is still available if we need it. We just got to consider a few other variables. Something else that we've talked to University of Cincinnati Air Care about, which helps tremendously, is if we get a call that we're dispatched to that sounds pretty bad, and if a chief officer or one of the officers on shift, just based on the description of the call, we can call for University Air Care and ask for them to be put in standby mode. And when we do that, what will happen is Air Care will go on, they'll lift off from wherever they're at, and then they will fly within 5 minutes of the scene. So if we get there, we decide, well, it's not as bad as what it sounded like, we cancel them, they go back. If we do need them, then it's a 5-minute response. So we're doing our best to work around these issues. Yep. And there's times we have no choice but to transport by ground, even if we would like aeromedical, and that would be in the cases of inclement weather. If it was real rainy, foggy, snow and ice, anything like that, aeromedical will not fly. And if it's weather, we'll say we call for University of Air Care. If they say, no, we can't fly because of weather, then I'm instructing all my officers, aeromedical's out. It's a thing that's very, very dangerous called helicopter shopping. And generally when that happens all too often, somebody else, private services called, they try to make the flight and then they crash. So. Anything else? All right. Thank you all.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks, Chief. Okay. Cardinal Engineering, Matt Bogan. Thank you, Matt.
Evening, everybody. On the High Street Bridge project, I don't have any updates. I sent in the utility certification right before last month's meeting. Tried to check in with them yesterday. Haven't heard anything back since then. On our road projects for this year, I've got our preliminary estimates for the asphalt and concrete projects. I'm going to try and get the bid specs ready and advertise those within the next month. Hopefully getting an earlier start on it this year, get some better rates, and catch the contractors before they get booked up for the season. So for the asphalt projects, you can see the streets on there, we're at $215,200. And then the concrete project is right around $58,000. There might be some odds and ends, sidewalk replacement we might tack onto that, see how the prices come back. And then some notes on the MS4 program. We got the drainage projects done on Brookwood and Chardonnay Valley. Contractor did a great job, was good at communicating with with Jerry and I. Did good work, and I think we use them again in the future. We're working on our annual report to send to the Division of Water. It's due a month from Thursday. Thanks Giovanna and Jerry for sending me some information for that I needed. One thing that probably needs some attention for this year is staff training. There's a requirement that the MS4 coordinator, myself, has to have 12 hours of continuing education again, but each year. But there's also a staff requirement for public works personnel. So I talked to Mayor Brown about this a little bit, but there's the erosion control and sedimentation prevention inspector program. The Kentucky Transportation Center does that course 2 or 3 times a year, and there's a couple other places you can get that. So it'd be a good idea to have at least one person on staff have that, just to know what to look for if they're going past a construction site, or just kind of have idea what to do on city projects. And then also, I was considering doing just a quick, putting together a PowerPoint, which is some pictures of like, here's the proper installation of silt fence or construction entrance, whatever. Here's improper installation. Something short of that certification class, but just something that we can give to the give to staff to have on hand and kind of know what to look for. Something else that we've run into in the last couple of weeks, we have a couple homes under construction on High Street. It's under an acre, so they didn't have to go through the full-blown review through the county and my inspection and all that, but they were tracking mud out onto High Street and onto Daniel Boone Trace every day. So I stopped out and talked to them. I think Jerry talked to them. They said, oh yeah, we'll get to it, and didn't really do anything. So I forwarded it to code enforcement. Bobby went out and talked to them and warned them, hey, if you don't get under control, we'll fine you. And they said, go ahead and fine us. It's cheaper to pay the fine to go out and rent the equipment and sweep it every day. So I was talking to Bobby earlier. He said that he's working with Mr. Duncan to get our fee or our fine schedule updated, make it a little bit stricter to something that actually has some teeth to it, so that we're not going to have contractors just skirting the requirements because it's more cost effective. So, are there any council questions or comments? All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Right? Moving right along, items of business. Ordinance number 2023-01. This is a second reading. An ordinance of the City of Walton, Kentucky, amending ordinances 2018-15, 22-05, and Section 31.03 of the City of Walton Code of Ordinances in order to revise the policies and procedures for the timing of compensation for the mayor and members of City Council. Counselor.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. This is for second reading tonight, consideration for your adoption. What this ordinance does, you'll see over on page 2, it gives options for council and mayor compensation. Right now, there's only one option, that's one pay a year. This will split it up into 3 options, once a month, once a year, or twice a year, up to the individual elected official to select. So if you'd like to adopt that ordinance, you can do that by motion.
Motion.
Second.
Rose Beach,
Yes.
Matt Brown,
Yes.
Terry Courtney,
Yes.
Amy Long,
Yes.
Dan Martin,
Yes.
Sherry Snowden.
Yes.
Okay, moving right along. Ordinance number 2023-02. This is a second reading. An ordinance of the City of Walton, Kentucky, amending Chapter 74 of the City of Walton Code of Ordinances entitled Traffic Schedules by creating Schedule 3 therein in order to restrict traffic on Scott Street to one way in the direction from Church Street to High Street, City of Walton, Kentucky.
Mayor and council,
I read what's on the teleprompter.
right, that title pretty much states it all. What this does is creates a one-way street for traffic on Scott Street, so it's restricted only in the direction from Church Street to High Street. This is second reading. You can adopt this ordinance by motion.
Second.
Rose Beach,
Yes.
Matt Brown,
Yes.
Terry Courtney,
Yes.
Amy Long,
Yes.
Dan Martin,
Yes.
Sherry Snowden.
Yes.
Item number 3 is ordinance number 2023-03, a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Walton, Kentucky, amending sections of Chapter 92 of the City of Walton Code of Ordinances in order to classify the tracking and or depositing of mud or other debris on streets and roads by construction vehicles as a nuisance and setting the fines for violations. Counselor.
Mayor and council, this is first reading of this ordinance. This is the ordinance that Matt Bogan referred to that we've been working on, not just with Bobby, but with Matt Brown, Councilmember Brown. We do have a problem in the city with contractors, especially on commercial and industrial operations, leaving a lot of mud, dirt, and junk on the street. Currently, the fine schedule is, I believe, $25 for the first offense, $50 for the second, and $100 for the third. What this ordinance will do is leave that in place for someone working on their own residence. But if you have a contractor, or if you have a contractor, driver, or heavy equipment operator on a construction job that's either multifamily, industrial, or commercial, and they do this, the fine schedule for them is going to be $250 for the first offense, $500 for the second offense, and $1,000 for the additional offenses. If they appeal the citation and get convicted or get found to be in violation by the Code Enforcement Board, the first offense is $1,000, second $2,000, third and thereafter $3,000. Plus, in order to add additional teeth to it, there's a provision in here that will allow the Code Enforcement Officer to stop work on the project if he deems that that's necessary to enforce the ordinance. So that's first reading. You typically do vote on first reading, so it'd be up to you if you want to do that on this one.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Rose Beach,
Yes.
Matt Brown,
Yes.
Terry Courtney,
Yes.
Amy Long,
Yes.
Dan Martin,
Yes.
Sherry Snowden.
Yes.
Okay. And fourth, we have a City of Walton, Kentucky, resolution number 2023-04, a revised resolution of the City of Walton, Kentucky, authorizing the mayor to execute a lease agreement with the Walton Fire Protection District for use of a portion of the Owens Real Estate for Training and Education Center. Counselor, you or Matt, either, any,
I'll just go ahead and summarize the reason for the revised resolution. As you read, it's a revised resolution. The city did adopt a resolution back in 2021 authorizing you to execute a lease with the fire district for their fire training center for a specific parcel of land over on the Owens property. However, that configuration and the boundaries for that parcel won't work out because of some physical limitations on the site. And so a revised site was worked out. You've got attached to your resolution a drawing which shows the revised site. It is different than the original one. It's about the same size, but it's in a little bit different place and a little bit different configuration. So I gave the opinion that we ought to bring it up to council and let you look at it and approve this one. So Matt, anything to add to that?
The a little more detail for the reason of the change. The first parcel was right up along Percival. It had some grade challenges and also an overhead pole line belonging to Duke Energy. And from Chief and I talking to Duke, it was going to be fairly expensive to get that line relocated. So we found the alternate location that's a little bit farther back on the property, up on the ridge. That should have fewer challenges, utilities in the way. Make that a little bit more feasible for development.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Rose Beach,
Yes.
Matt Brown,
Yes.
Terry Courtney,
Yes.
Amy Long,
Yes.
Dan Martin,
Yes.
Sherry Snowden.
Yes.
started on those grants, Chief. All right, that concludes the business portion of this. Let's go council comments. Councilwoman Beach.
No, sir.
Councilwoman Long.
Oh, good, thank you.
All right. Councilwoman Courtney.
Just thank you for everyone being here tonight and for those that are volunteering their time for our events and Old Fashioned Day, so thank you.
Okay. Councilwoman Snowden.
I'm good, thank you. I don't have anything there.
All right. I will reiterate what Councilwoman Courtney said as well. Thank you, everybody, for everything you do. It's going to take a great deal of effort to make the 50th a good old-fashioned day. I think that we will ultimately get it all together. I would particularly, in addition to the people that normally help us prepare for this event, and this city staff as well. I'd like to sincerely thank people from Boone County, as far as Boone County administration. Sheriff's Department, Major Mark, you all always do a great job in helping us out. David Whitehouse, Boone County Parks is phenomenal in ideas and suggestions and knows what it is. Bridget Stryker with the library has been more than excited to help us with providing some of the history for that. And Boone County Animal Shelter is also excited for the event. So, and Judge Moore and the county staff administration as well. So everybody that I have talked to has just been over the moon excited and is absolutely gung ho to help us try to make this as good as possible. And it really, yeah, it's a testament to the relationships we have. So, with that being said, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Second.